Once a payroll batch is posted, no further edits can be made to the checks in that payroll batch. However, all checks are saved to the paycheck section in Aviante, and certain corrections can be made to checks in that area. First, you will have to find and pull up the check in question. So we'll go to the left side of the screen over here and head over to the paycheck page under the back office. Once we have arrived in Paycheck, I can use my basic search functionality to pull up that check by employee name, paycheck number, or employee social security number. Once your search has been run, then you can further sort information by using these columns at the top of the page to filter results or reorganize results. As an example, I can go ahead and click on the check date column 2 times to sort by most recent checks to the most distant checks as far as in the past. Here I'm going to pull up this check for Frank Gallagher so that we can make some corrections on that paycheck. Once you double click on the paycheck and get taken to the paycheck screen, all of your corrections are accessible here in the Actions menu for Reissue, Reverse, and Void. In this case, we're going to look at a very specific scenario where Frank Gallagher has been paid by mistake. Frank Gallagher should not have received this paycheck. What we do next is going to depend on if you still have the check in hand and can cancel that, or if Frank has already taken the check and deposited or cashed that information. For the first scenario, where Frank has not yet received the check, or you are able to get him back into the office before he does anything with it, we will head over to our Actions menu, and we are going to void that paycheck. Here in the void screen, we will be able to enter in a description as far as why we are voiding that check, as well as set the check date. In this case, since we are avoiding it and we're not creating a replacement check, we will set the check date to be today's date. In other words, the date in which we are making that correction. Then we have the option to generate the original pay units. This would let us go back and modify the hours that were worked. If it is just a matter of the wrong employee getting paid, then we don't need to reopen Frank's time card. No edits need to be made there. We need to enter in those hours under a completely different time card. So we can leave that box unchecked. Then we will hit our Finish button to finalize that void and instigate that information into Aviante. On the other hand, let's take a look at the scenario where Frank has already cashed that check, and so we can't simply void it. We need to make sure that the amount is corrected on Frank's balance. To do so, we'll head over to our Actions menu again, and this time we'll choose the option to reverse the paycheck. We get a very similar screen where we can enter in the description as to why we are reversing the paycheck. The check date we will also leave as today, and we also have the option to generate the original pay units, which we do not necessarily have to do at this time since the check should never have been issued for Frank. What the difference is here is as soon as I click Finish and that reversal is processed, Aviante is going to keep track of that difference, $344.11 in this case. Now, the next time that Frank is paid, the Aviante will attempt to take out that $344.11 from the next paycheck that Frank receives. Of course, it will obey standard deduction rules, so it will not take more money out if that would take him below minimum wage or if there's another deduction that has to come out first. But Aviante will keep that amount on file and continue to deduct until this full $344.11 is made up for on Frank's account.